world is filled with bad news, but our song of the day talks about the good news. Our feel-good song of the day is done by Ian Vaughn. The song is entitled Good News, and it talks about all the wonderful things that God has in store for His people. So don't worry about it, don't fret. Things can only get better. Welcome to A Soft Place to Fall. I'm your host, Kerwin Fielding, the voice. We're here to challenge you today to see if you've actually found that soft place to fall. It can be a spiritual place. It can be a physical place. You'll recognize our guests today, not by the way they look, but something in their storyline will remind you of something you have perhaps gone through, and how they found their soft place to fall, and how you can find yours, or even recognize it if you're already there. I'm going to go and change clothes. Why? That's what I do. But for now, here's how I'm feeling.
So now, fear God. Worship Him in total commitment. Get rid of the gods your ancestors worshipped on the far side of the river and in Egypt. You worship God. If you decide it's a bad thing to worship God, then choose a God you'd rather serve, and do it today. Choose one of the gods your ancestors worshipped from the far side of the river, or one of the gods of the Amorites, on whose land you're now living. As for me and my family, we'll worship God. Over 40 acres of peace and tranquility. That's the best way to describe Southern Memorial Gardens. For more than 5 decades, the staff and management have provided families with the peace of mind that their final resting place for their loved ones will be one that will be well maintained and one that they will be proud of. It may not be the easiest conversation to have, but pre-need arrangements are available, and the conversation promises to be professional, comfortable, and concise. Visit southernmemorialgardens.net and find them on Facebook. Southern Memorial Gardens and Mausoleums, the most prominent cemetery in the Baton Rouge area. They care about you and your loved ones. Most people don't realize how real domestic violence is. They don't realize how many lives are affected. Statistics show that domestic violence takes place in our nation every minute of every day. And most of these cases are left behind closed doors. That's why October has been designated as Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and it began in 1987. Not only to educate and raise the awareness, but to bring the support and strength that domestic violence victims need. The purple ribbons are in honor of domestic violence victims and support the growing awareness. Since it's usually done in secret, domestic violence is often overlooked. But we say, if you see something, say something. WTQT 106.1, the People Station. WTQT 106.1 is the only Black-owned and operated 24-hour all-gospel radio station in the Baton Rouge, Louisiana market. WTQT is a non-profit radio station geared to uplifting, empowering, and driving our listeners to their destinies. Our programming proves it. We do it through the music we play, the ministries we share, the community involvement, and the underwriters we serve. For the ultimate gospel radio experience, tune into Gospel with a Feeling with Kerwin Fielding, the voice, on 106.1 FM and WTQT.org. Weekday mornings beginning at 7 a.m. It's Gospel with a Feeling on WTQT 106.1 FM, the People Station.
A soft place to fall.
Welcome to A Soft Place to Fall. And in case you didn't know, A Soft Place to Fall is a place of rejuvenation, restoration, a place where you can find some solitude, something good can happen to you. Because in the midst of all the things that are happening in the world today, we all use a soft place to fall. I'm just going to remind you, as I always do, I'm not a preacher, pastor, life coach, therapist, or guru. I'm your host, Kerwin Billy, and I'm here to walk this journey with you in finding your soft place to fall. You know, in this world these days, we all face challenges daily, daily. Even young people. A lot of times we always look at the young society as what is wrong with them, never really knowing what they've gone through. Today we are so excited to have with me a young lady, and I could tell she had a spirit of excellence. Just in our initial conversation, I knew that there was something special about her. And having said that, I'd like to welcome to the couch for conversation, Kierra. How are you?
I'm fine.
I'm doing well. Go ahead and reintroduce yourself to me, and of course introduce yourself to our viewers.
Well, my name is Kierra Epps. I go by Dream. It's spelled D-R, the number 3, A-M. And well, I'm 26 years old. I'm a mother of one, a son. Well, when I started writing when I was also pregnant with him at the age of 15.
That's where the wonderful story comes in. When we initially got a chance to talk and I got a chance to meet you, like I said, you spoke so eloquently. You said things like, I thought I was in a committed relationship. And I was like, oh my God, what kind of young person talks like that? So it was obvious that you had faced a whole lot of challenges, and but you found a way to pull yourself out of all of that. So at the age of 15 years old, you gave birth to a beautiful son. Yeah. So what were some of the things that kind of pushed you a lot when you kind of thought that this is not going to work, I don't know what to do, I don't know how I'm going to handle this? What were some of those events, so to say, without prying too deep into your personal life, some of the things that kind of pushed you to the limit?
Well, what really pushed me is the point where I had to grow up at a young age. When I was pregnant with my son, I was basically just sitting there just wondering what is going to happen. Like, am I going to be a single mother? Am I going to be as a unfit mother? I had a lot of things going in my mind to the point where I started to write. I first started writing when I was in my teacher's class, in English class, and so she was basically explaining to us all poetry don't have to rhyme. It's like you have some that rhyme and don't rhyme. And so I started to write, and I started to feel a relief over me. So once I had my son, it came to a pause.
It came to a pause.
Came to a
It
pause.
came to a pause. Now that's interesting, because like I always say, each of these engagements and encounters that I have with my guests is that you actually found that soft place to fall in your writings, and probably didn't label it as such, because I know that, like you said, being a young mother, the world could probably look a whole lot scarier than you talk about all the noise and confusion. You found that place in your writings. What was the first thing you wrote?
The very first thing I wrote when I had my son was dealing with my grandmother. But like I had to stop, and once I stopped, when I got into certain things, I started to write, like really feel it, to the point where I was in tears, to the point where I was broken, and to the point where I had thoughts to the point where I said, there's no reason for me to be.
And that's a very interesting point, and I'm glad that you brought that up, because and to our viewers, the numbers are astronomical of young people of color, especially our young black men, who are taking their lives, or if they had done it, the thought has crossed their minds. So it's a blessing that you were able to find some leverage to putting in your writings. So we're going to talk a little bit more about some of the things that you wrote and how they became not only a soft place to fall for you, but I know that there's some people who have been touched by your creative penmanship and all the wonderful things that you're. It's funny that you said your teacher told you all poems didn't have to rhyme. I don't think I really knew that. But if that be the case, when we return, we'll talk more with Kierra and find out how did she find that soft place to fall and how you too can find it as well. We'll be back.
Are you covered, protected, and prepared? Don't you want to ease your mind by having the confidence that when the time comes, you and your loved ones are protected and insured? It's as easy as picking up the phone and calling licensed life agent Enidra Wells, 225-936-6017. With care and compassion, Enidra will walk you through the entire process of having you and your loved ones covered, protected, and prepared. No exams. Most pre-existing diagnoses are covered. No special requirements. So call today, 225-936-6017, and have the assurance of insurance. Most people don't realize how real domestic violence is. They don't realize how many lives are affected. Statistics show that domestic violence takes place in our nation every minute of every day. And most of these cases are left behind closed doors. That's why October has been designated as Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and it began in 1987. Not only to educate and raise the awareness, but to bring the support and strength that domestic violence victims need. The purple ribbons are in honor of domestic violence victims and support the growing awareness. Since it's usually done in secret, domestic violence is often overlooked. But we say, if you see something, say something. WTQT 106.1, the People's Station. WTQT 106.1 is the only Black-owned and operated 24-hour all-gospel radio station in the Baton Rouge, Louisiana market. WTQT is a non-profit radio station geared to uplifting, empowering, and driving our listeners to their destinies. Our programming proves it. We do it through the music we play, the ministries we share, the community involvement, and the underwriters we serve. For the ultimate gospel radio experience, tune into Gospel with a Feeling with Kerwin Feeling, The Voice, on 106.1 FM and WTQT.org. Weekday mornings beginning at 7 a.m. is Gospel with a Feeling on WTQT 106.1 FM, the People's Station. Over 40 acres of peace and tranquility. That's the best way to describe Southern Memorial Gardens. For more than 5 decades, the staff and management have provided families with the peace of mind that their final resting place for their loved ones will be one that will be well maintained and one that they will be proud of. It may not be the easiest conversation to have, but pre-need arrangements are available, and the conversation promises to be professional, comfortable, and concise. Visit southernmemorialgardens.net and find them on Facebook. Southern Memorial Gardens and Mausoleums, the most prominent cemetery in the Baton Rouge area. They care about you and your loved ones.
A soft place to fall.
And we're back to A Soft Place to Fall. We're talking to Kierra. What's that poetic name?
Dream.
Dream.
Yes, sir.
Where did that come from?
Well, the meaning behind dream, I'm going to start with the D. D is stand for I dream with my eyes open and when my eyes closed. The R is coming from I remember where I came from and what I went through. The 3 came from when I wake up. So it's 3 a.m. So when I wake up, a whole new world is created.
Wow.
Yes.
You're real deep. You're real deep. Now, we talked about your very first poem that you wrote. And I know that there have been, I guess, countless things that you have in your repertoire. Is there one that kind of sticks out that could speak to the people who may be facing some challenges and things, like I said? And I know it may sound a tad bit redundant,
but we all are going through things. The world is literally seems to be turned upside down. You know, you wake up one morning on top of the world, and you wake up the next day and the world's on top of you. So what do you do? What's that one poem that kind of sticks in your mind and tells everybody, oh, it's gonna be all right?
Well, this one particular one stuck with me to the point where I had it down pat. And it's called A Treasure Left Behind Before the Tears.
Okay, let me hear it. Let me see if the treasure's left behind.
So, a treasure left behind before the tears. A treasure left behind in a cold, lonely room. Watching you walk away was the hardest thing to do. Drifting down memory lane where you're my flame from the pain. My own personal hummingbird when you sang. We was like Martin and Gina, but I treated you like Ike and Tina. Feeding you lies, I apologize. While I was doing me, you was crying yourself to sleep. Wondering where you went wrong, but all along it was me. But before those tears, I remember those days you used to smile at the stars. Praying to God that one day he would send someone in your life who would love and cherish you forever. To brighten up your day and turn that frown upside down. Because you was way too deep to watch me sleep. Way too cool to watch me drool. Battling these demons every day. Praying to God that you'll survive before you let any man see you cry. Passing out love but no reply. Looking out in the night sky hoping you won't die. Trying not to lie. A real man that was on my side switched up like a 9 to 5. Even though these teardrops came like a sky full of rain. Love songs still playing in the background while these teardrops drain. Dodging the bullet that was one shot at me. That's when those teardrops came. Making me feel less of a woman with death in my veins. I'm bleeding out blue blood because that red making stains. Hollering that you'll never judge me when no teardrops came. I'm fighting these demons like a lion protecting his kingdom. Hands up, you're being detained. Man down, you're feeling the pain.
And when you can't say anything, wave your hands. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That blessed me. So whenever you're facing these challenges that may come every day, do you actually just recite one of these poems to encourage yourself?
Yes, sir. I go back and I read to the point where if I go through something, it's flow from my mind down to my hand, down to the pen to the paper. So basically, I'm letting out all my anger and all my troubles, and sometimes it be heavy, so I let that out too.
Well, we're gonna call that your soft place of all. So some of you very creative young people who are out there watching YouTube, there's a young lady who actually got a chance to do the inaugural poem, and I don't know, it's just something about your presence reminds me of her. Yeah, I know you know who I'm talking about. What a wonderful opportunity. I'm just going to kind of throw this one in because I know that there are a lot of things that you've seen and a lot of things that you've gone through. But what sticks in my mind is that initial conversation about thinking that you were in a committed relationship. Speak to another young lady that might be facing some of the same things, if we can help her out.
Well, I thought I was in a committed relationship to the point where I was thinking it was a 50-50 chance, but I was giving out 50 or close to 99%, and he was just giving that 1%. I tell any female, if he's not giving you that type of energy, or if he don't want to love you, he don't want to care for you, move on. Don't stick there. Don't try to home yourself behind a man, because a man is only there. God is going to send a man that's really going to be there for you. So patience is the key. I live by that so many times. Every man that came into my life, but every boy, I say a boy, because a boy, the difference between a boy and a man, a boy would play these childish games while a man would love you. So I say, continue to pray, wait for God, and He'll see you through.
Tell everybody how they can follow you and find some of these poems. I know you're all over social media, so
Well,
tell them.
right now, I have to make a page, but you can follow me on my Facebook page as Kierra Epps, and I'll have under there where you can find me on Instagram, and so I'll be posting all my stories and every poetry, and even if you want to talk, we can talk.
Wow, doesn't get much better than that. Kierra, thank you so much for coming and sharing your story and being so up close and personal with us right here on a Soft Place of Fall. We've got more in store for you. This is one of my favorite segments. It's on the way right here on the Soft Place of Fall.
A soft place to fall.
We've come to one of my most favorite segments in a Soft Place of Fall.
It's called I'm Gonna Tell God on You. Remember when you were a child and you were running around being bad and your siblings would always say, I'm gonna tell on you. Well, it's the same principle, but it tells of the good things that people are doing. There are wonderful people doing wonderful things behind the scenes. Nobody ever seems to give them any recognition. So I decided I'm gonna tell God on you. That way God will bless you for the wonderful works that you're doing. During this pandemic, there are so many people talking about first responders, and doctors and nurses, and all the people who are there guiding us through this pandemic. But there's very little talk about people that are working behind the scenes. I'm talking funeral directors, morticians, floral arrangers, people who are doing great things to make the transition of your loved ones a very special one. So for this segment, I'm going to tell God on all of you. In particular, one individual who works in that area as a mortician, as a funeral director, a funeral aide, he does flowers for funeral services. So this time around, Michael Harold, I'm going to tell God on you. If you got someone special that you'd like me to tell on, you can email me at asoftplace@yahoo.com and I'll tattle on them and tell God on.
A soft place to fall.
Most people don't realize how real domestic violence is. They don't realize how many lives are affected. Statistics show that domestic violence takes place in our nation every minute of every day. And most of these cases are left behind closed doors. That's why October has been designated as Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and it began in 1987. Not only to educate and raise the awareness, but to bring the support and strength that domestic violence victims need. The purple ribbons are in honor of domestic violence victims and support the growing awareness. Since it's usually done in secret, domestic violence is often overlooked. But we say, if you see something, say something. WTQT 106.1, the People Station. WTQT 106.1 is the only Black-owned and operated 24-hour all-gospel radio station in the Baton Rouge, Louisiana market. WTQT is a non-profit radio station geared to uplifting, empowering, and driving our listeners to their destinies. Our programming proves it. We do it through the music we play, the ministries we share, the community involvement, and the underwriters we serve. For the ultimate gospel radio experience, tune into Gospel with a Feeling with Kerwin Feeling, The Voice, on 106.1 FM and WTQT.org. Weekday mornings beginning at 7 a.m. It's Gospel with a Feeling on WTQT 106.1 FM, the People Station. Are you covered, protected, and prepared? Don't you want to ease your mind by having the confidence that when the time comes, you and your loved ones are protected and insured? It's as easy as picking up the phone and calling licensed life agent Enidra Wells, 225-936-6017. With care and compassion, Enidra will walk you through the entire process of having you and your loved ones covered, protected, and prepared. No exams. Most pre-existing diagnoses are covered. No special requirements. So call today, 225-936-6017, and have the assurance of insurance. Over 40 acres of peace and tranquility. That's the best way to describe Southern Memorial Gardens. For more than 5 decades, the staff and management have provided families with the peace of mind that their final resting place for their loved ones will be one that will be well maintained and one that they will be proud of. It may not be the easiest conversation to have, but pre-need arrangements are available, and the conversation promises to be professional, comfortable, and concise. Visit southernmemorialgardens.net and find them on Facebook. Southern Memorial Gardens and Mausoleums, the most prominent cemetery in the Baton Rouge area. They care about you and your loved ones.
A soft place to fall.
Welcome back to A Soft Place to Fall. I kind of consider it your roadmap to recovery. Because things can get pretty challenging out here. Life can throw you a curve that you never saw coming. We had the awesome opportunity to speak with a young lady. Yeah, young people go through things as well. Kierra has found her soft place to fall in her creative penmanship, as she is a wonderful poet. So the words bring her courage and comfort and strength. So you young people out there too, I know it seems rough. And to all of you, don't worry about what it looks like, sounds like, feels like, smells like. God is in control. In the end, we are victorious. Don't believe me? Read the end of the book. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about how loud it gets. Don't worry about how ugly it may seem. Don't worry how smelly it may seem. For even in the book of Romans, it reminds us that, for I reckon that the suffering of this present age cannot be compared to the glory that shall be revealed in Christ Jesus. We're here to uplift you, encourage you, inspire you, and drive you to your destiny. And hope and pray that you find your soft place to fall. Don't worry about how many goals you have successfully achieved, how many mountains you have climbed, how many initials you've earned at the back of your name, or perhaps added there for your convenience. Yeah. Remember, only what you do for Christ will last. Find your soft place to fall. Well, we've come to
He
one of my
that
most
dwelleth in
favorite
the secret
segments.
place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty.
Hold up, cause a mosquito was trying to bite.
A soft place to fall. Yeah.
I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress. In Him will I trust.
A soft place to fall. Yeah.
Surely He shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with His feathers, and under His wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler.
A soft place to fall. Yeah. A soft place to fall.